My name is Natalie Tizik, coming in live from Channel 21, and in today's news coverage we will be going over the breaking news on the Cuban Missile Crisis and conflicts between the U.S. and the Soviet Union with a special guest, Mr. President Kennedy. Now let's send it out to our reporter on the scene for more in-depth information towards the startling news. Take it away, Mr. Mendez.
Yes, thank you, Natalie. Currently, I find myself near the coast of Florida, which is the closest we could get to Cuba from the United States. Our placement of Jupiter missiles in Turkey, which is nearby Moscow, has led the communist leader of the USSR, Nikita Khrushchev, to take precautionary action and allowed for the placement of catastrophic warheads on Cuban soil. This has led to much speculation, such as a possible nuclear war between the US and the Soviet Union. The US has been able to confirm the placement of such warheads through these images captured by our military's U-2 spy plane. We have been able to get an exclusive interview with President Kennedy regarding the news that concerns us all. Good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening.
Go. What is your view on the potential nuclear conflict between the U.S. and the Soviet Union regarding the missiles placed on Cuban soil, if I may ask, Mr. President?
I can assure you that all precautions are being taken to assess the situation correctly. However, if the Soviet Union decides to pull off any military offense between now and the end of our negotiations, I can assure you that we are more than prepared to go into nuclear war and will have no mercy for the conservation of national security that it should have on our people.
Every civilian in the U.S. is wondering if we should be worried for a possible nuclear war. What do you have to say to America's humble people?
Soviet missiles placed in Cuba for a possible nuclear attack in the U.S., which is a threat to our national security and conservation of democracy. I'm working on diplomatic negotiations with Khrushchev to relocalize the missiles and to prevent any sort of nuclear war that could ultimately leave our land in ruins.
Wow! Such great news! Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Your time was greatly appreciated.
You're very welcome.
You should have seen by the look in my eyes, baby, there was something missing. You should have known by the tone of my voice, man.
Baby! No!
Welcome back. We are now going to go over the disastrous Bay of Pigs invasion that took place on April 17, 1961, between Fidel Castro's guerrilla army and U.S.-trained Cuban soldiers for privatizing major pre-owned U.S. companies and attempting to prevent the spread of communism to the U.S. after Batista's corrupt term. Here coming up, we will have an exclusive interview with the U.S. soldier who was released yesterday, December 24, 1967, who will discuss his experience of fighting during the Bay of Pigs invasion and how he felt of being captured by the Cuban soldiers with the cost of $53 million from our fortunate U.S. companies and individuals. To you, Miguel.
Thank you, Natalie. First off, I want to thank Caesar for your service with our country. It must have been hard for you being a prisoner of war. Can you explain one of your biggest challenges or worries you faced as a U.S. troop during this time?
Once we arrived at the site, I looked down below and noticed we were badly outnumbered. It was Cuban soldiers shooting our planes down as if they knew we were coming already. It was a nightmare. I wanted to go back. I didn't want to fight.
Can you tell us a bit about how it was like once you arrived at the site where the battle took place?
All of us on the plane looked at each other and knew we were not going to make it for the little amount of weapons we had to fight against Cuban forces. Kennedy knew about this. Anyways, as we got off the plane, two of my friends got shot and killed. I was then arrested and stripped of all weapons. As they took me to this car, I saw several of my friends being slaughtered, killed, and humiliated. I just built this anger inside of me. I can't explain it. It was sadness, depression, everything. It's crazy.
Wow. Must have been very tough for you. Thank you for enlightening us, and I wish you luck.
But watch Ajax with blue chlorin. Just a soft sponge and pot marks gone fast.
Honey, all I did was...
Get out of the kitchen fast. Get Ajax, now in plastic too.
Mr. Clean gets rid of dirt and grime and grease in just a minute. Mr. Clean will clean your whole house and everything that's in it. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
We now have a second witness who will talk about the fear under McCarthyism that has affected thousands of American lives in different ways. The community is constantly living in fear and created a lack of confidence within others. Now to you, Miguel.
Thank you, Natalie. Here we have Leslie describing her experience of the McCarthy era and how it can relate to the ongoing Cold War. Hello, Leslie. I'm glad you were able to join us today and answer a few questions.
Thank you.
So, Leslie, what are your concerns regarding America feeling threatened by the Soviet Union and the spread of communism?
The era of the Red Scare is very frightening because anyone could be accused of being communist when they're not. Anybody that is accused would immediately be on the blacklist and detained for questioning. They would be beaten to death if they do not admit to be communist or mention someone who is. Sometimes it's necessary to accuse someone else to save your own life.
What does it mean to be blacklisted?
It means you're a threat to society. You never want to get any blacklist. No. It's horrible. When you get any blacklist, no one associates with you. You're constantly under supervision and lose many privileges. You can't get social services, a job, nor travel. You become a target.
Have you ever been detained to be questioned?
No, but I know someone who has. The man was tied up and was not allowed to sleep until he confessed. The interrogator never accepted "I'm innocent" as an answer. Later, the poor man gave away names and those people were found and killed. It's a tragic world we live in.
I know you're a communist. You know the answer? It's not even real!
Unbelievable. That's very unlawful. I have seen lots of propaganda against Russia and communism. Do you believe it's all true?
It's hard to believe, but that's all I'm aware of. The government portrays communism as this evil thing, and there has not been any evidence that proves that statement correct. Yet we are titled as criminals if the authority is questioned.
Well, only time can tell. Thank you for your time.
And that's a wrap with today's news coverage. I wish you all a wonderful afternoon and tune in tomorrow for the latest news here on Channel 21.